Hey everyone, this is Athletes and Antiquities. Today I wanted to talk about the EX series holos and rare reverse holos because I think the EX series it's my personal favorite series. It's the one that I grew up with, and I think there's a lot of really underappreciated stuff in it. So the most famous part about the EX series is the gold stars. I don't have any gold stars because I'm a broke boy, but you can look up pictures online or other videos that have people have complete collections, and the gold stars were the first true chase card. There were the shining cards from the WotC series. There were cards like the shining Rayquaza, shining Magikarp, shining Charizard, all those, but those ones were much easier to pull than the gold stars. So the gold stars were one in every couple boxes, like one in every 3 or 4. So about one in every 72-ish packs, and those have all skyrocketed. So I don't have any of those to show you guys, but one thing I think is not fully appreciated are the EX series holos and reverse holos. Because the gold stars exist, the holos and reverse holos are kind of take a back seat because they're not the most desirable thing in the set, but that by no means means they're lesser in terms of appreciation. So I buy them up when I can, and I'm going to show you guys the differences between them and just some of my favorites that I have. So on the right, you see the Charizard Delta species. So first I'm going to talk about Delta species. So this was prominent in the EX series, and Delta species basically means it's a combination of 2 types, and they're 2 types that are not normally native to that Pokemon. So normally, like, Charizard is fire, but if you see it has Delta species in the top here, it is that little squiggle, and it has the squiggle for the evolution as well. And if you notice in the middle here, it says this Pokemon is both electric and steel type. So obviously neither of those are normal for him, but it just changes its moves and just makes it's an interesting take on cards that hasn't really been replicated since. But so the Charizard from what is it called, from Crystal Guardians, is probably the biggest card from this series, but there's lots of other ones. So the Charizard is a regular holo, and the Rayquaza is a reverse holo. And so how you can tell is similarly to the EX series commons and uncommons. I made a video about it if you want to check it out. It has the picture, it has the symbol for the set in the bottom right of that picture. But with the holo rares, when they become reverse holos, they get gold text for the name and the HP. So if you notice, the Charizard has a black name and a black HP, but this Rayquaza from Holo and Phantoms, because it's a reverse holo rare, it has the gold Rayquaza and the gold HP. So I think that's a really nice touch, and all of them have this gold border as well. So all the ones that are reverse holo rares. So I think there's a high presentation value to them, and I think especially the Delta species, but even the non-Delta species, it's a very unique look, and it hasn't really been replicated since in very many ways. So I'm just going to show you guys some of the highlights from the series. So Charizards, I have one that's really beat up from when I was younger, so then I got a nice near mint one that I'm probably going to grade. But this is probably the biggest chase card. This is from the Crystal Guardians set, and there was also a Blastoise. This is just the regular non-reverse Blastoise holo. So you can see it has the gold border. It's a Delta species, so it's fighting and steel. And then the Venusaur, which for some reason was not a Delta species. It doesn't match the other 2 starters. It's just a normal grass type, but you can see this is the reverse version, so it has the gold text as the Crystal Guardians, but it does not have the gold border because it is not a Delta species. So it has the yellow border as opposed to the Blastoise, which is gold. So important distinction. They all came from the same set. I think it's bizarre that Venusaur didn't get the Delta species treatment, but it is what it is. And I already showed you the Rayquaza. This is one of my favorite not big 3. This one is water, steel, and I just love the artwork on it. I love the way how it's outlined. Then another big one is the Salamence from Delta species. So you can see it here. This one was Fire Steel. Again, it has that early 2000s like CGI type of artwork. Kind of reminds me of the XD Gale of Darkness, that kind of modeling. And then you have the Espeon and Umbreon from Delta Species. So here's actually a really good way to compare the two, reverse and non-reverse. So this is the regular holo. Gold border. Artwork's the same, obviously, but then you can see with the reverse, it has the symbol and then the gold text. So different ones increase more than the other depending on which card you're chasing. Technically, the reverse holos are rarer, and the reason why is you have an even chance of getting any reverse holo in any pack. So if you see with this particular set with Delta Species, it's 4 out of 113, which means that this card has a 1 in roughly 113 chance of being pulled as the reverse. Whereas the holo, it's 1 in every 3 packs or so is a holo. And let's say there's, I'm not sure how many off the top of my head, let's say there's 15 holos. So you can do the math on that, but it's much harder out of like a pack to guarantee a specific reverse holo whereas any of the holos. So in a lot of cases, the reverse holos have outpaced the regular holos. There's a comparison on that. And then the Umbreon, it's the sister card. This one's in really terrible condition. You can see it's really bent, but some of these are from my childhood. Some of these I've purchased later, like this Espeon is a very minty copy, but compared to the Umbreon, I would grade this one. I would not grade that one. Then here with the Deoxys. This one's an interesting one because it was very miscut. So if you see at the bottom, the gold actually ends and you see the yellow of a normal card. And this is very interesting because it shows how they're printed, where not all the gold cards are on the same sheet. There are some yellow bordered ones on that sheet as well. So when they get miscut, they look really funky. So this is the one that, and so it's really short on the top. You can see because there's so much extra stuff down below. So that's an interesting way just to see how it's made. A little printing error there. It's also yellow on the side a little bit, if you can see that. But it's unique. I wouldn't grade it, but I like that art. Same with this steel type Deoxys. This is just one of the regular holos. This is probably the best Nidoking artwork out there. It's in a very aggressive artwork. This is just the normal holo version. Now I'm gonna start going through these faster. Its counterpart, Nidoqueen. Another Delta Species. I love the really extreme Delta Species ones where the type change is very jarring, such as water to fire or something. Same with this Kingdra is also water to fire. Then there's Latios. I believe these two were actually from a theme deck. I could be wrong, but I thought they're normally not holo, and they were holo for a theme deck. I'm not really positive on that, but fire and water. Latios from Holo and Phantoms. This is just a holo pincer. And I really like the Legend Maker ones. For some reason, I don't know why, the Legend Maker ones just pop way more. Just the holo pattern in the background really jumps out at you more aggressively than the other reverse holos. So I collected a bunch of the Legend Maker ones. I think they're just in a class of their own in terms of appearance. I got a bunch of them. I like the ones where the actual character is small and lets you see more of the background. So a lot of these ones, that's what makes this reverse holo so much more noticeable. Then here's just some more Delta Species, EX Delta Species ones. Got a water type, dark type, and then Grass Crobat. This one's also in really terrible condition. But condition isn't everything, because if you're not planning on grading it, you're just enjoying it for the artwork. Here's some more that switch to electric. Yeah, I'm not usually if a card has gotten really pricey, I'm not super focused on the condition. I just like having that item, and if I can pay $50 less because it has a few white nicks, I don't mind that. Here's some more. I'm just gonna run through these. This is a non-Delta Species. This is also really, you can see the corner is really messed up. This is probably from one of my childhood collections. That's why it's so, I was in a back pocket getting all beat up, but I still kept them. Here's some EX Emerald. People say EX Emerald. No one knows for sure, but EX Emerald, people akin it to having the lowest print run of the entire EX series. So the EX Emerald ones are, if you notice, they are much harder to find, especially the sealed product for EX Emerald is almost non-existent at this point. When one pops up, it's a very rare occurrence. One thing that's interesting at this one, you can see the holo pattern in the text. Normally the text is just a straight holo, but you can see these symbols. All right, continuing on, I'm just going to start running through these fast. So some EX Deoxys with that prismatic that I'm not a huge fan of, but still nice to collect more prismatic. Personally, I think the reverse holos are much more interesting than these holos. I like the holo, but having like the reverse holo just with the text and the gold, with the gold text and the set symbol, I just think it makes the card more desirable. Dragon Frontier is probably the most sought after set due to the Gold Star Charizard being in that set. That's the chase card of the EX series. Now we're ending it off with a bunch of Power Keepers. I think Power Keepers is kind of weak in terms of the reverses. It doesn't really appeal to me too much. I don't like that sheen holo with the very flat look. I have some more Dragon Frontiers left, Power Keepers. And these two are both from the Pop series. So Pop is, it was a player promo around this time where you'd go to like events and things like that, and you could get Pop packs. So sometimes in them you would get things like these Delta Species, and Pop Series 5, which is what these two are, actually contained Gold Stars in it, the Espeon and Umbreon. They're super sought after, which is why Pop Series 5 is astronomical for sealed packs, because they can't be searched because the holo weighs about as much as a normal holo, and they're really rare. I think it's like one per every 30-ish pop packs. So Pop Series 5, Delta Species, that ends it off. So I've already made a video on the commons and uncommons. This was just showing the rares. So it's one of my favorite eras, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. See ya.